What's going on, everybody? It's Rob Wilson of Arstellations. This is not officially a draw, chat, and chill, but this is one of those informative segments that I kind of feel compelled to mention. As you know, years later, people will be like, "Oh, they finally admitted it on the news." So I don't really trust mainstream media. Like I said, I will be doing some drawing in the background. I'll show you my progress and stuff. But the purpose of this show is to inform. As we know, what was it, Monday? Um, Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago location in Florida got raided by the FBI. And when stuff like that happens, you normally have to take some time and let the air settle and find out who's who, what's what, and then you know, um, you know, kind of get the idea of what the heck was the reason for it. So, first couple of days, of course, have been crazy. People trying to figure out what's going on, speculation, official story, unofficial story, official story, unofficial story, official person, unofficial person, you know, um, witnesses, inside moles, and all that kind of nonsense. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna just show you two segments. I'm gonna take a break in between each segment. The first one's like 15 minutes, and the other one's about 23 minutes long. But I thought this was freaking amazing. Um, Before I even draw any conclusions, let's just get to it. Let's see here.
This right here is Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida home. And unless you've been living under a rock for the past 2 or so days now, then you already know that the FBI conducted a massive raid of President Trump's home on Monday morning. The first public indication that this was actually happening came from a statement from President Trump that he sent out via Truth Social. Here's what he wrote, quote, "These are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents." Now, such a thing was obviously unprecedented, and it led many Trump supporters within that local area to gather outside of Mar-a-Lago as a show of support. However, in terms of how this raid actually played itself out, well, that was a bit of a black box. And so in order to shed light on what really happened that day, I got a chance to speak with one of President Trump's lawyers, Ms. Christina Bobb. She was actually there on site at Mar-a-Lago for almost the entire time that the FBI was turning the place over. Here's how she described what happened.
I got a call around 10 o'clock, maybe a little bit before that, saying I needed to get down to Mar-a-Lago because the FBI was there. And I got there maybe around 10:30, and the FBI was already there, and they were already in the process of conducting the search. So I don't know the exact time that they got there, but I'm guessing it was probably an hour to an hour and a half before I made it there. And then they concluded, I want to say maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock. So it was about 10 hours, I'm guessing, of searching that they did yesterday.
And so how many agents actually came on this raid? Approximately how many?
I don't know the exact number, but I would guess, I've guessed about 24, maybe. I think I heard someone say that there were 30, and that was probably about right.
So early in the morning, Mar-a-Lago, which of course has Secret Service protection, they just have these black vans come, FBI agents knocking, and do they show a warrant or an affidavit to the people there?
Well, I assume they showed something to the Secret Service to actually get onto the premises. When I first got there, I was the first attorney to arrive on behalf of President Trump, and I asked to see the warrant, and initially they wouldn't show it to me. And I said, "What do you mean you're not going to show me the warrant?" So after some discussion, they agreed to show it to me so I could see it. And then, they gave me the copy once everything had concluded. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot you can do in that situation. They're there, they have a warrant, they're doing what they want, and you kind of just watch. But it was, I've said before, similar to like a movie scene where you see, the FBI come in and they've got all their boxes and their gear and they're investigating things. They wouldn't allow me to actually go with them where they were doing the search. So I didn't actually get to oversee the search. They wouldn't let anybody see what they were doing. So I can't confirm, what process they did or any of that, but I know approximately where they went.
Now notice something there. In her statement, Christina mentioned that the FBI agents did not allow either her or anyone else from Trump's team who was there on property to observe the FBI conducting the search. And the reason that's so relevant is because just earlier today, President Trump suggested that the FBI may have actually planted evidence during this raid. Here's specifically what he wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, again, just earlier today. Quote, "The FBI and others from the federal government would not let anyone, including my lawyers, be anywhere near the areas that were rummaged and otherwise looked at during the raid on Mar-A-Lago. Everyone was asked to leave the premises. They wanted to be left alone without any witnesses to see what they were doing, taking, or hopefully not, planting. Why did they strongly insist on having nobody watching them? Everybody out." Now, it is worth mentioning that President Trump's statement there is only insinuating that this might have happened. However, obviously it's relevant to this part of our discussion, and therefore I mentioned it to you. Furthermore, there's something else that I believe is really worth highlighting in terms of the actual affidavit and the actual search warrant that was presented by the FBI. Because you see, in order for the FBI to actually secure a warrant like this, they must prove that there is both probable cause of a crime and that it is likely that they will turn up evidence of the crime in their search. However, here's the kicker. In terms of the actual search warrant, Ms. Christina Bobb, who's again President Trump's lawyer, she told us that not only was the affidavit sealed, but also you might be a little surprised at which judge actually signed off on it. Take a listen.
And as far as the probable cause goes, they wouldn't give that to us, and they've requested that that be sealed with the court. So we don't know what the probable cause is. An affidavit will accompany the request for the warrant, and we haven't been able to see that. I don't know if we'll ever get a copy of it. But yeah, so we don't know what the probable cause is. I don't think there is good cause to do such a drastic thing, but they did. And it was a local magistrate judge here in Florida that signed the warrant. I think it's Reinhart is his last name.
Really?
Bruce Reinhart.
So it was Bruce Reinhart. A lot of people were speculating that it was him.
Yeah, it was Bruce Reinhart, yeah.
Now, the reason that this particular judge is so significant is because prior to becoming a federal magistrate, Bruce Reinhart actually worked as an attorney for several of Jeffrey Epstein's employees. You heard that right. Back in the year 2008, Bruce Reinhart was actually working as a senior prosecutor in the Southern District of Florida at the exact same time that district was negotiating a non-prosecution agreement with Jeffrey Epstein. However, in the middle of these negotiations, Bruce Reinhart, he suddenly left his position as a senior prosecutor within the district. He set up his own criminal defense legal firm, and within days, he was representing Jeffrey Epstein's accomplices, specifically Ms. Sarah Callan, who worked for Jeffrey Epstein as a scheduler for many years, as well as Ms. Nadia Marcinova, who worked as one of the pilots for Jeffrey Epstein's infamous airplane. However, since then, since 2008, well, Bruce Reinhart had...
The Nadia chick, I got the next video is going to have even more detail about her and her operation as well. So let's keep going.
His return to public service, he became the U.S. Magistrate Judge for the Southern District of Florida. And then, just a few days ago, he signed off, as well as sealed up, the FBI search warrant against President Trump. Now, in terms of why this raid actually took place at all, well, sources within the U.S. government say that it has to do with an ongoing investigation regarding White House documents that President Trump allegedly took to Florida. Documents that President Trump claims were his to take, and that he was already working with the relevant agencies to sort the whole matter out. Here's specifically what President Trump wrote on this matter in a statement. Quote, "After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid in my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system." And indeed, according to Ms. Christina Bobb, who was again at Mar-a-Lago when this was happening, the FBI took several boxes of paper products. Here's what she said. And by the way, as a super quick aside, if you're enjoying this video and all the research we were able to compile, well, I hope you take a quick moment to smash that like button so this video can be shared out to ever more people. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. That way you can get this type of honest news content delivered directly into your YouTube feed every time we publish it. And now, Ms. Christina Bobb.
So I haven't seen exactly, what the documents are. They did give an inventory, which had, they took a handful of boxes of documents, but it's unclear at this point. I don't think that there was anything incriminating. Like, I don't think there was anything of substance. So I'm sure that they will say otherwise, but we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. But it was all paper. I hear the conspiracy theories and the rumors that there were other artifacts or something taken. It was all paper.
However, stepping back for a moment, there is a deeper question to ask, which is why really did this raid take place? And many people are speculating that this FBI raid might actually be used to prevent President Trump from running for office again. All right, let's take a quick second here to tell you about the awesome sponsor of today's episode, the one and only.
Of course, that's normally what they want to do. I haven't seen people so obsessed with Trump. It's crazy. That is crazy. That is like sickening obsession. But that's a House of Cards. If you ever watch that show, you watch House of Cards, that just really shows how ruthless folks are behind the scenes. That's just real. So, scumbags.
Because you already know that over the past 6 years, nearly starved to death because of a ban on synthetic fertilizers. We've seen a push towards having people eat food made out of bugs used to prevent President Trump from running for office again. The link will again be down in the description box below. And many people are speculating that this FBI raid might actually be used to prevent President Trump from running for office again. Because you see, according to federal law, specifically Title 18, Section 2071, quote, whoever having the custody of any such presidential record, proceeding, map, book, document, paper, or other thing, willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, falsifies, or destroys the same shall, among several other things, be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. Meaning that if President Trump were to be actually found guilty of violating this particular statute, the state might actually attempt to bar him from holding office again. However, given the fact that the qualifications for who can actually become president is set forth in the U.S. Constitution, well, it's dubious whether this federal law, which is, of course, below the U.S. Constitution, could actually stop President Trump from running again. But if he is found guilty, his team would have to very likely go all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court in order for them to determine whether he can run again or not. And in fact, I asked President Trump's lawyer about this exact scenario, and she responded by saying that they are not really worried about it. Take a listen.
I'm not worried about any of it. Donald Trump didn't commit a crime. Now, whether Mark Elias and his buddies at the Department of Justice want to try to indict President Trump, they can try. They're not going to be able to show that Donald Trump actually knew what was down there, or that he had anything to do with the boxes. I mean, they would have to lay the foundation that Donald Trump actually packed up his own office, and Donald Trump was actually the custodian of these records, and that he actually moved them, and he knew, like, they have no information to indicate that he actually knew these boxes were in the storage unit. So there's no reason to believe that Donald Trump committed any crime, or that any crime was committed by anybody. Is that going to stop the Department of Justice? Probably not. You know, the law has never, why would you let the law get in the way of good facts that you can make up? So they might try to indict or, try to make something up. I'm not worried about it. I don't think it would get very far, even if they managed to convince the jury to convict or something. I just don't think it will hold up. It's not going to hold up because they don't have the facts to support any criminal activity on the part of Donald Trump.
So I just wanted you to highlight that a little bit for the audience, maybe explain it to them a bit deeper. In order for President Trump to be found guilty of anything, there's a very high standard that needs to be met. Can you explain that high standard?
Yeah, so for the Code Section 18 U.S.C. 2071 that Mark Elias quoted in his tweet, it says that you have to willfully or knowingly remove or destroy, the whole list of items. Willfully and knowingly means you have to do it intentionally, which means any person who does that would by default mean that if they want to prosecute Donald Trump for doing that, they would have to prove that Donald Trump personally knew that information was being removed from the White House, that he personally either dictated it or had it removed, or that he himself did it. He knew it was there and that he had some malicious intent with it, which there's nothing to indicate that that's true. And to be clear, I don't actually think that there's anything incriminating. They can say that they found classified documents. We let them in there before, and other attorneys on the team have gone through that, combed through it to make sure there wasn't something that people weren't aware of. And I'm not convinced that there's actually anything damning in there, but we'll see. We'll have to see what they come up with. Now, regardless of the legal ramifications, it appears
they'll
that
come
in
up
terms
with
of public
something.
support, this FBI raid has actually galvanized people supporting Trump. That's because in a statement that was written by Eric Trump just a few hours ago, quote, DonaldJTrump.com is shattering all fundraising records, and I'm told has raised more money in the past 24 hours than ever before in recent history. The American people are pissed. Now, Eric Trump did not offer any actual numbers or any actual evidence to support his claim of such a huge windfall of money, but a wave of financial support would seem to be in line with the wave of public support that President Trump has received since Monday. That's because not only are prominent Republicans like Governor Ron DeSantis, Mike Pompeo, and pretty much everybody else in the caucus coming out and supporting Trump, but
also, the electorate seems to be doing the same as well. That's because the day after the raid, on Tuesday, candidates that were endorsed by President Trump swept through both federal as well as state elections. Now, obviously, this is a developing story with many twists and turns, and I will keep you updated on all the events as they transpire. Otherwise, if you would like to watch the entirety of my interview with President Trump's lawyer, I'll throw the link. It'll be right there at the very top of the description box. If you click on it, you can check out the full interview in its glorious entirety. Again, right there at the top of the description box. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. Stay informed. Most importantly, stay free.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what we got going on there. This guy, Reinhart, like, if you ever seen Jeffrey Epstein's, the documentary on Netflix called Filthy Rich, there's another guy that stayed in and kind of sat on a lot of the allegations that were made against Epstein back then. And nothing was found out until after he got out of there. But he just sat on the information. So it's no surprise Epstein has had a lot of accomplices. But, you know, for Epstein to literally, like, well, hypothetically, this is my joke, for him to strike back from beyond the grave, you know, with his accomplices, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty wild. And, you know, I mean, no one's safe now these days. Like, literally. Americans are not safe from their own institutions. They're not safe from their own bureaucratic agencies, because, you know, you got too many people just freaking just, all right, I'm just following orders, and they don't ask the ethical efficacies of what it is that they're doing, whether or not it is right or correct, you know, of any sort. You know, it's just like, oh, we're team this. Let's just go ahead and keep attacking the same people over and over and over and over and over and over. So to do the Mar-a-Lago raid, I mean, Trump's been out of office since, you know, he's been in Mar-a-Lago since 2020 or 2021. You know, they want to wait until now. The January 6th thing was a joke. Select committee, because I didn't select them. I don't know who the hell selected them, or I guess it was Nancy. Nancy always causing trouble, I swear. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the restroom. I'm gonna be right back, and then we're gonna hop to the next video, because again, that whole circle of corruption, you know, from anywhere Epstein's name is involved. I mean, like, that dude had too much money and hands into too much stuff. And probably, possibly, and this is where I get into fictional speculation, his greatest pupil is still at large in the form of Ezra Miller. I'm just saying, you know, it makes no sense that this freaking guy just gets away with everything, similar to how Epstein has done. And when I look at the altercations that Ghislaine Maxwell had when she was affiliated with Epstein while he was still alive, with some of the young girls that they had over at St. James, they would do this method of snatching their passport. So Ezra Miller has also done that, invading the hotel room of someone, creating a ruckus, and snatching the passport. So that, I mean, anybody that's normally irrational, they wouldn't just go for your passport first unless they were taught to do that. They've seen that method executed before. So the fact that, you know, Ezra Miller can't get caught, apparently, you know, he ain't hardly in any movies. He's nowhere as rich as Jeffrey Epstein. How is he so elusive? So those are the kind of patterns that I see in that whole cycle of Hollywood. Everyone mentioned, well, people mentioned that people knew what Epstein was up to. And who knows how many students he had. Who knows how many students Ghislaine Maxwell still has. that practice these same methods. So that's how I look at it. And again, Trump was one of the guys that cooperated with uh, getting Epstein the hell out of there, and also cooperated with providing information that was needed to build up the Epstein case. So that battle, it's amazing to see that battle is still going on today. So if you just joined, just quick recap. Um, Judge Bruce E. Reinhart was a magistrate judge that signed off for the Southern District of Florida. He signed off on the warrant that was used for the FBI raid on Mar-A-Lago on Monday. Reinhart previously was a attorney who represented associates of Jeffrey Epstein implicated in his human trafficking conspiracy, namely Sarah Kellen and Nadia uh, Markova. And like I said, when I come back, quick bathroom break, we're going to go ahead and go to the next video that covers Nadia Markovia, who had her own operation as well. And oh yeah, quick update. Let's see. Well, I don't really have much to show as far as art wise. Y'all probably didn't seen it before. So let's see. Yep. This is what I'm ready to start rendering. I'm just adding a little bit of detail to this guy now. Made some adjustments to this girl's shades and all that. More characters on the way. That is pretty much how I do it. So, all right, bathroom break. I'll be back, and we can get to the next video, and then I'll have some ending comments, and I can go to sleep. And so can you. Or if you catch this in a replay, be right back. All right, I'm back, and let's get on to the next one here. Keep it rolling. That's how we do. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Whew, this is wild, man. I've never seen nothing like this before. So, quick thing about me is like, yeah, I don't trust mainstream news. Also, Reinhardt donated to Newsmax, allegedly conservative. Um, yeah, can't do that neither. I barely watch Newsmax anymore because they're wishy washy. You got people walking off the show while they have people being interviewed just because they disagree. Ain't nobody got time for that. Mm-mm. Can't be all finicky like that. And Fox News is entertaining, but at the same time, it's tough. It depends on who you say. Like sometimes you can't talk about George Soros. You know, um, it's sad. So that's what happens. When those owners and handlers start getting offended, and you find that some things they won't tolerate as long as you're under their thumb or boot. All right, let's continue. So here's another one that I watch. Natalie Denise, she's pretty good.
Muchachos y muchachas. Okay, so by now you may have already heard the news. The supposed magistrate that people are suspecting signed the order for Trump's raid earlier this week is probably Bruce Reinhart. And if you have kept up with the news, Bruce Reinhart is actually he was a former U.S. attorney who stepped away from his position and then immediately represented Jeffy's employees. Now, I didn't want to just do another video on some empty commentary on this news itself, because right now it's just a suspicion that this is the magistrate that signed off the order. I was more so wanted to focus in on who he represented back in 2008. Now, there are some notable names that were connected to this guy who he represented, one of them being Sarah Kellen, which I believe she deserves her own video. So just hold on to your pants for that. Hold on to your butt. Click the subscribe button, click the bell, and also share this with your friends and family. Okay. But today I wanted to focus in on another named person.
Oh yeah. Also, if you're enjoying this content, please be sure to like, follow, subscribe. I have all my goodies on Linktree. Be sure to check it out. If you feel like you want to donate, by all means, I would greatly appreciate it. Trying to keep this operation going. Again, I normally do like artwork, but some things that pop up, I feel like it is a need to share because it doesn't get enough attention. And you can do a little bit more on live stream as opposed to a pre-recorded video being uploaded. And as always, live streaming on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time, just in case one of them start acting a little funny. So trying to keep all my bases covered. All right, let's continue.
Who is Nadia Marchinkova. Now, Nadia Marchinkova, I also have some mixed emotions about, because there's some mixed testimonies about her. Some say that she was actually a victim, and some say that she was a helper in all of this. So let's get into this. Stay right there. We're going to go through it. Okay, so Bruce Reinhart, the National Post did a really great job the next day after the raid to kind of suspect and give some, just some context clues as to who might have signed this order for the three-letter agency to raid Trump. And they suspect that it is Bruce Reinhart, who stepped away from his U.S. attorney position back in 2008 to represent Jeffy's employees. Now, a little bit about Bruce Reinhart. So he actually did donate to former President Barack Obama's campaign.
Makes
and he
sense.
also donated very heavily to establishment opponents of Donald Trump back in 2016. And as you guys know, all of these corrupt politicians and, people from the swamp, they want to strip us of our rights. And that brings me to thank the sponsor of this video, Support the Second. Now, as you guys know, like I mentioned, they're trying to strip us of our ever-living rights. And on the back, why are they so against DJT? Why? I know a lot of people implicated that he's part of it and things like that, but it's like, don't you think that's exhausting that he would be part of it and yet they're going against him and they're literally impending on his rights as a private citizen now by raiding his Mar-a-Lago. Anyway, I find that interesting. I think that this is quite a turn of events for us to really assess who's out there representing us in leadership and who is in charge of security and stuff like that, right? And it's mentioned here in the Miami Herald, very now famous article that actually resurfaced all of this information back to the public's eye about, Jeffy and his universe, his realm, the people that helped him. It states here, Jeffy, who also hired Bruce Reinhart, then assistant U.S. attorney in South Florida, now a U.S. magistrate. He left the U.S. attorney's office in January of 2008 and went to work representing Jeffy's employees in January 2nd of 2008, court records show. In 2011, Reinhart was named in the...
That's when you know stuff is corrupt, just failing upwards. You do a good job, well done, in the circles of corruption, you get a promotion. Textbook. All you gotta do is just look at history. I mean, they've been doing this for like way too long for people to still fall for it. So,
Crime Victims' Right Act lawsuit, which accused him of violating Justice Department policies by switching sides, implying that he leveraged inside information about Jeffy's investigation to curry favor with Jeffy. Reinhart is a sworn declaration attached to the CVRA case, denied the allegation, saying he did not participate in Jeffy's criminal case and never learned anything confidential, non-public information about the Jeffy matter. Sure, Bruce, I'm sure. U.S. Attorney's Office has since disputed that, saying in court papers that he did possess confidential information about the case. Contacted for this story, Reinhart in an email said that he never represented Jeffy, only Jeffy's pilots, his scheduler, Sarah Kellen, and Nadia Marchinkova, described by some victims as, S-slave. Reinhart also pointed out that and a complaint filed against him by victim's lawyer Paul Castle was dismissed by the Justice Department. Well, gee, I wonder how that happened, Bruce Reinhart. You're saying that you didn't leverage your position or your insider information and knowledge to help out this case, but yet somehow, very conveniently, Paul Castle's case was dismissed. Interesting stuff and interesting timing. So pivoting to Nadia Marchinkova. So this is an interesting character, and she has an interesting company that I'm going to mention. Nadia Marchinkova, she first appeared in court documents in Florida about a decade ago. She was 22 at the time, and she had been in the USA since 2000. She was one of the most prominent immigrants in the circle of Jeffy. Now, Wired.com actually did a piece on Nadia, and they described that despite girls being lured by, Glenn and Jeffy through various methods and places, Nadia Marchinkova actually belonged to a smaller group who came to the Jeffy syndicate. And I even questioned that part, like what smaller group did she come from? Now, victims described Nadia as Epstein's live-in in a Florida court filing. But then there's this other side that says that several girls told the Palm Beach police that later in the aughts, Marchenko pressured them to have, with both her and Jeffy. Now, I'm just going to say this, okay, because I think that this needs to be prefaced, that there are victims out there, and have talked to some that have been in previous lives like that, where they are absolutely manipulated to become this form of recruiter. Okay. But that does not mean that they are not victims themselves. Now, I know that, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, for instance, she actually was alluded to be one of these type of people, but that does not subtract from the fact that she also was manipulated as a young teen girl to do this and to, be pressured by, the upper echelons of these people, these circles, to recruit and bring girls in. It's alleged that the Jeffy syndicate was like a pyramid scheme of sorts where they would recruit and recruit and recruit, going down the line in order to bring them back to Jeffy. Just wanted to make that clear. Now, I'm not saying that I know this about Nadia. I don't know the absolute transparency to her story, as she is a sort of mysterious character as one of Jeffy's employees. But I will say that being in the anti-human T-wording industry, I know that does exist, that a lot of manipulation does, swindle these girls and women into being some form of recruiter. But that's not to say that some other things about this lady ain't questionable, and I'm going to get to that as well. Now, as we know, Jeffy utilized his aircrafts to transport people of both the elite and what is said to be by witnesses of youngins, the muchachitas, you right? And there is one tarmac employee that reported that he saw him get out of a helicopter with, the young ones, right? Now, bringing it back to Nadia Marchinkova, it says that Marchinko's flights were somewhat harder to pin down, as the girls in the Jeffy circle were often recorded by first names or initials. Now, the name Nadia appears in 2003 as Nadia Marchinkova and appears on a manifest for flight out to Palm Beach in 2004. Then the initials NM start to show up in nearly every manifest for both one of the Gulfstreams, which is one of the other aircrafts that Jeffy owned, and the LE Boeing 727. You guys can put that together, the LOLITA, you know what. While NM was generically noted zipping among airports in Palm Beach, Florida, Monterey, California, and New York, she also visited Columbus, Ohio, Newfoundland, and Tercia Island in Azores. Now, Columbus, Ohio, just for you guys, as a side note, that's where Les Wexner was. That's where he, had some of the, you know what I mean? Like, that's his area, okay? Just wanted to make that note. It is notable that Nadia Marchenko was one of 4 named and alleged accomplices of Jeffy who were given immunity back in 2008 for his prosecution. It's also maybe suspected that Jeffy paid 2 people whom investigators identified as co-conspirators hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2008, seemingly to keep them quiet. The cash recipients weren't named, but it isn't unreasonable to maybe think that maybe she was one of them, but we just don't know that. And we really leave that as a mystery because she wasn't the only co-conspirator. There was also Sarah Kellen, a very, infamous name by now, Leslie Groff, as well as Adriana Ross.
That's a hell of a team they got going on.
They all were alleged
Good
to,
grief.
coordinate and plan out these sessions with Jeffy. I also want to repeat that victims did testify that Nadia Marchinkova was central to Jeffy's recruitment strategies. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this was kind of like a pyramid scheme of sorts where, you would have your higher ups and then they would recruit down in order to obtain, the resources for Jeffy and what he wanted to do in the sessions. What I want to point out in a pivot, kind of just alluding to this, is that Nadia actually owns a company by the name of Avaloop. Now, Avaloop is it's a weird concept. I should also mention that she is actually a pilot, in which gives her leniency to the industry that she runs her business in.
Lots of
She's
traveling.
actually the CEO of Avaloop, and it's sort of like an aviation branding business, and it does.
Hold on. Remember, Ghislaine Maxwell was, wasn't she like a chopper pilot? And then she was a submarine pilot also. Well, not submarine, but yeah, it was some kind of underwater jet ski or something like that. Yeah, I think she could operate excuse me. A socialite. Let's see. Um uh, bear with me 1 second. Yeah, she had like a bunch of accolades under her belt of different skills. So if you're around those circles, I guess, you get access to more stuff. But I'll let this keep going
Feature
while I look
shots of
in the
her on
background.
Gulf Streams on her website, and I'll tell you why this is questionable. Her office was allegedly in a building that was not far away from Jeffy's mansion in New York. What's additionally curious is that Jeffy's brother, Mark Ep, owns a majority stake in the building that she allegedly ran her office or lived in, which was once again close to the Jeffy quarters or his mansion. And it included the unit Marchenko actually might have conducted business in. And some more sauce to add on that, Avaloop was registered at that building that Mark E., Jeffy's brother, owns a majority stake in. And it was registered there for at least 7 years. And as recently as in 2015, Sarah Kellen, the alleged other co-conspirator, actually took deliveries at the same building. So, like I mentioned, once again, her story gives me mixed emotions, because if she was indeed taken at 15 and forced into the syndicate somehow down the line, of course, that offers some sort of,
Yeah. See, as a trained helicopter pilot, Maxwell also transported Epstein to his private Caribbean island. Yeah, she had a bunch of skills. So, high affluence, that's who they want to recruit. So
empathy
how they rock.
in some respect. But if she owns Avaloop, I wanted to show you guys these promotional materials. First, these are some videos that they made in promotion of this website and the things that they did, which to me is still a little bit questionable. These are basically some young women. I don't know their ages, I can't verify, but they basically promote some of these branding strategies. Take a look.
Welcome to Avaloop, your collective buying website for anything aviation. We offer deals on flight lessons, pilot accessories, fuel, FBO services, charter flights, and even small aircraft. Our deals are usually 50 to 90% off. That means whether you want to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or to see more girls like me, Avaloop can help. You can even vote for your favorite deal attendant and win special prizes. Our membership is completely free. Our deals are unbeatable. And there's no catch.
All right. First of all, no respectable, um, no respectable pilot company is going to advertise um, the women that work for them like that. But hey, she's promoting herself. It must be normal, you know.
So what are you waiting for, Captain? Subscribe to our newsletter and get in the loop.
Hi, welcome to Cole's Flight School on avaloop.com. My name is Ashley and I'm your deal attendant. Anyone who claims that humans were not meant to fly never experienced the thrill of their own successful landing. If you've been bitten by the flying bug and you want to add multi-engine to your pretty green license, this is your opportunity to do it at 50% off. You don't see that very often. Today's deal includes all the necessary ground school and 15 hours of multi-engine flight training. Get ready to fly big boy airplanes. To purchase this deal, you must hold at least a private pilot license and a current medical certificate. Don't miss out and click on that big blue button. You know you want to.
Okay, that's not suggestive.
Hi, welcome to Classic Flight Training on avaloop.com. My name is Claire and I'm your deal attendant. With today's deal, you can channel your inner Top Gun, climb into the cockpit, and learn to fly an airplane. You can even practice saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking." The flight lasts 1 hour under the supervision of an FAA instructor, begins with a ground school lesson, and ends with a new perspective on what you were born to do. And remember Top Gun? Clearly your attractiveness increases with every flight under your belt. Just remember to wear your aviators and pick a cool call sign, Captain.
Okay, no company is gonna have their folks talk like that. Um, I'm just saying that's common sense to me. In this day and age where sensitivity is king, or should I say queen, or whatever. Yeah, no company's gonna talk like that. Especially advertising. So,
Welcome to AviLoop, your collective buying website for anything aviation. We offer deals on flight lessons, pilot accessories, fuel, FBO services, charter flights, and even small aircraft. Our deals are usually 50 to 90% off. That means whether you want to learn to fly, charter an airplane, or just see more girls like me, AviLoop can help. You can even vote for your favorite deal attendant and win special prizes. Our membership is completely free, our deals are unbeatable, and there is no catch. So what are you waiting for, Captain? Subscribe to our newsletter and get in the loop.
Okay, so taken into account that there is a mixed illusion about Nadia, whether or not she was taken at 15 and forced into the syndicate, I think that in itself deserves some empathy. However, what I have to say about this Avaloop is still a little bit questionable. Now, I looked into their website, and initially, when you look at their website, it does look to appear of what it describes, some sort of branding strategy for aviation industries. It says here projects and services, create marketing content for aviation businesses, develop social media marketing strategies, a lot of different things. And you can see her right there, Nadia Marchenko, as the CEO. So the website is still up, but what I find curious is the archived pieces of this website, as you guys can see here. And I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can see the URL before I proceed. It says avaloop.com/New York/page/how it works. Okay. So as we go down, you can see that, there are some infographics here, and we're just going to go through some of these where it says, get Avaloop email featuring awesome aviation deals priced at 50 to 90% off. Find deals or flight lessons, aviation merchandise, FBO services, charter flights, or even airplanes. Let our deal attendants tell you more. And then you see the next infographic where it says buy a deal and get a unique link to share with your friends. Earn $5 for every friend that buys. Okay. The infographics for itself, I don't know. They just seem a bit ominous. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if you can draw the same emotions from it, but you're kind of seeing like this, hey guys, like come get this deal from AV Loop. Okay, so this is where it starts getting a little bit more questionable. The next infographic you can see right here on the left, it says when the group limits is reached, the deal takes off and we send you your voucher. Think of this as VR. Take your voucher to the merchant, enjoy your awesome deal. Okay, and then you see a group of pilots kind of like smiling. Okay, then there's this part right here. Vote, vote, vote. Chat with other AV loopers about your experience or vote for your favorite deal attendant for the chance to win a one-on-one video interview with her. There is a new one with most deals to keep, so keep coming back. Wait, there is a new one with most deals, so keep coming back. I don't.
That sounds like an aviation version of OnlyFans. I'm sorry. That's exactly what that sounds like. That's some unofficial stuff right there. I mean, that's how they roll, though. Not much surprise with that. But to know that Epstein managed to branch out other webs and have people, do his bidding and have multiple organizations and businesses and groups to have these services for the rich and famous. That's a big web. I mean, shoot, thought the swamp was a lot to drain. Shoot, look at just Epstein's side of things, Ghislaine Maxwell's side of things, and who knows who else. Eventually, we will be talking about Klaus Schwab in time. In time. Excuse me, I got so much gas.
I don't know what that means. You guys see this part right here? I don't know what that means. There is a new one with most deals, so keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but you see,
It's like a brothel.
it alludes to beautiful young ladies, and I don't think that these are flight attendants, or maybe they are, but you guys saw the promo videos. You guys can let me know what you think about that. And then there's this page right here. I'll zoom in on the URL so you guys can see the archived page. It says avaloop.com/New York/deal/attendance, where it says, meet our deal attendants. Vote, win, chat. You never know. It says, why vote? Every week we feature an interview with the most popular deal attendant. One of you will win a one-on-one video chat with our deal attendant. Remember, these girls are not just pretty faces. You will be talking to real successful fashion models with exciting backgrounds. Many are big aviation fans, so you will have a lot to talk about. You never know. Anyone can like and tweet, but only members can vote. Sign up here. Limit 1 vote per day. Okay. Yeah. You see what I'm talking about? So that's where I'm a bit conflicted, because while I can empathize with the story that she was taken and she was forced into this Jeffy syndicate somewhere down the line. But then also that victims are testifying that she had a big part in, enabling and scheduling and, recruiting and stuff like this. But then when you see these things in her archived website, you can only assess by what you see. And to me, that don't look right? So guys, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you guys know this character in the Jeffy universe?
All right, so that's a lot going on with that kind of nonsense. I mean, it's crazy, man. To know that the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein still exists in the form of his associates and people that still have a grudge against Donald Trump. Everybody does, apparently. It's crazy, and I don't even know if that whole Avi Loop thing is still around. But I think that is a real live version of House of Cards, no doubt about it. A federal magistrate who steps down from his position to represent Epstein affiliates signed the warrant for the FBI raid on Mar-A-Lago. That is crazy. You know, real life truth is definitely stranger than fiction. To observe fiction is not having to go through it, but knowing when there's some ruthless stuff like this going on in real life, it makes our world seem a little bit smaller than what we thought it was. And that's all I got, you know, just covering that. And I guess I'll send you guys my farewell update of what I got with my stuff. It's going to be good stuff, you know. Characters I make, they're going to be great. Different from anything people have ever seen. So that's what I'm rocking with that. So yeah, I was adding a couple little details, forum wires and all that kind of stuff to his character before I started the rendering process. I wanted to make sure I got a clear, drawn out idea of how these characters are supposed to look. And then I can move on to the next set and the next set and the next set. So that's all I got. Thank anyone who did stop by. If you did like this content, I do provide a variety of content. So you may not always get the same type of thing, get the same flavor twice. So just know that I'm an artist. That is my first and foremost, but I am also a big fan of freedom. And if organizations don't do their job to promote and preserve freedom, the best I can do is at least say something about it while we still have those freedoms. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you disagreed that this is a tangled web, or if you do agree, comment either way. You can see all my stuff, passwords, to know where I've been in order to understand where I'm going. My link tree, the description below. Yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. You have a good night.